The ninth silver rule: my conscientious self, meet your shortcomings with a sword of self-respect. Meet your shortcomings with a sword of self-respect. We all have our limitations. We're all prone to mistakes. But too often, one is extreme in responding to one's limitations. Either one takes the extreme of denying one's mistakes, one's wrongdoing, and claiming perfect innocence, claiming infallibility, and pointing the blame toward everyone else. Or one goes to the other extreme and feels oneself a hopeless, miserable wretch for whom there is no hope, who is beyond saving, and one feels full of shame and guilt and unworthiness. Or maybe one feels a combination of those two. One moment infallible and unwilling to confess a jot, and the next minute wallowing in self-pity and guilt. But there's another way, and that's what this rule is reminding us. And that other way is the middle way, represented by the sharp sword, which is straightforward, clear, bright, discerning. And that is the way of respect, self-respect. Now, we won't be able to treat others well until we're able to treat ourselves well. Everything begins with our relationship with ourselves. A Sufi said, I looked for God and I found myself. Then I looked for myself and I found God. Moshe says that faith in God has its foundation in self-confidence, faith in oneself. So how we relate to other people, how we relate to the world, ultimately how we relate to the absolute, is all a measure of how we relate to ourselves. And we all have a self that is subject to error and limitation. So how do we deal with that? The path of the sword of self-respect means, first of all, respecting oneself. Respect yourself. God created you. The great absolute, the infinite, the all-encompassing whole, determined to bring you forth. If that itself is not evidence that you are wanted, that there is dignity inherent in your being, what evidence could possibly exist? You have been brought forth, you have been manifested by the divine intention. Let that be a cause for profound self-respect. Beginning with respect, then, one can move to sympathy. And from sympathy to understanding. And from understanding to forgiveness. and from forgiveness to unity consciousness. The knowledge that everything's connected. So all of this movement toward ease, toward peace, toward acceptance, toward being at ease with God, toward being at ease with oneself, it all begins with self-respect. And that means knowing that you've been created by the divine love, for the divine love, through love, that you are beloved. So when you start to doubt yourself and feel unworthy, come back to this clear, bright, sharp sword of self-respect. In the old conventions of poetry, a naked sword always means a moment of attention. And there's a naked sword, that means on guard, be on alert, open your eyes. Modern times, maybe it would be a gun. If a gun is brandished suddenly, whatever anyone is doing, you have to wake up. But the gun can't symbolize what the sword can symbolize. The sword symbolizes this lucidity because of its reflective metal. It's a mirror. So wake up in the presence of a mirror. Wake up in the presence of a mirror to your own soul and see the dignity of your soul. When you feel battered by life, look into the mirror that reveals the face that God made and that is a reflection of the divine face. But keep that consciousness alive through vigilance, a naked sword. Do not dispense with your honor. Keep your honor alive by feeling the dignity of your soul. So these are the words. My conscientious self, meet your shortcomings with a sword of self-respect.